So the jam toaster. The jam toaster is a small supercomputer. It's not really a supercomputer that's comparable to any of the modern, big supercomputers. But it's also not just a regular server either. It sort of sits in the middle. It has about 16,500 AMD Threadripper 5 GHz cores, 32 terabytes of 8-channel RAM, and 16 gigabytes of L2 cache for those processors, as well as some pretty heavy-duty networking and storage. Why are we building this small supercomputer? Well, this is a very important element of jam. Simple blockchain systems like Ethereum do not particularly rely on the emergent effects of the nodes. If I run a single node Ethereum network, it will do much the same thing as if I run a 10,000 node Ethereum network, which is to say it will go through and process the transactions in a block. Yeah. And it will author blocks, allow new transactions to come in and update its state. Both will do this. It's just that one, the 10,000 node network, those nodes state are replicated 9,999 times. Whereas if it's just one node, it's not replicated at all. It's just that my node runs. When we build networks like jam, it becomes a little harder. Because the network as a whole does not do simply what a single node does. Rather, the nodes work together doing different things, and what the outcome of the network is what we call emergent. We rely on the emergent effect of the nodes on the network. And this emergent effect is very different to the single effect of one node. It's a little bit like trying to imagine a market. Where does the price come from? Well, the price of, say, apples in a regular market comes from the emergent effect of, the people who have apples to sell and the people who want to buy apples. And they all sort of do their thing, and eventually there is a consensus on the price. No individual agent sets the price. Yeah? If we take one person from the market and say, what's the price of an apple? They will not be able to give the same answer. No. In fact, the answer comes as an emergent behavior of the system when it is full of agents. Well, it's the same with jam. And this gives us a problem. When we have a single system that a single person authors, then the code, the instructions that the machine is working through are specifically designed to give the behavior that we want. There is a clear mapping between the software that is written and the behavior that we want. We do this with, say, unit tests. And we write unit tests that make sure that the software does the behavior that we want. And then we can have debuggers that allow us to go through the execution of the software and allow us to check when the software's behavior deviates from our expected, our desired effect, our desired behavior. Well, when we have an emergent system, we can't do that because every piece of software isn't on its own giving us the effect that we want. It's only with the system altogether that we get the effect that we want. We have effectively separated the workings of a node from the outcome of the system. The workings and the outcome are now separate. This makes it really hard to engineer well. Oftentimes, when you're counting on the emergent behavior, you'll find that your system goes suboptimally. It goes slow, it has bugs, it might stop. And it's very hard to understand why if you can only look at one node at a time. It's very hard indeed, maybe even impossible. It's almost like you're trying to work out how a whole forest is mutating by only looking at a single tree. Now you might be able to see if that single tree is having trouble in its current environment, and maybe it's making way for some other tree or something. I don't know. But it's very hard to understand the dynamics of a forest simply by looking at a single tree. In the same way, it's very hard to understand how an emergent system is working or is failing on the basis of looking at just one or two nodes. The jam toaster is designed to be a full-scale test network for jam. So we can run the whole of jam as a test network in this one machine at full performance, exactly the same performance profile as if we actually had 1,023 different validators all running properly spec'd nodes. And the main difference is that this is all contained in a single room, which allows us to hook it all up to a logging system and actually analyze and create network conditions so that we can really understand the emergent behavior of the jam network. And this is, to the best of my knowledge, the first time that this has been done for a blockchain. But it's absolutely necessary if we are to move blockchain beyond the distributed ledger concept. So, what is jam?